and welcome to the Ink Archive. My name is Briar, and I am joined here today with Tyler as we go into our semifinals for set champs of Arcasia's Island here, and we have some cool, fun decks here. Tyler, tell us all about them.
Hey everybody, so today we have on our left hand side we have our player named Shane. He is on Sapphire Steel Kiwi, super aggressive, low to the ground. Has a couple, I think he's playing a couple more higher end characters in terms of like the Cogsworth. He's on a couple of Bagheera and stuff like that. Super interesting. He's on the Gantu, the 5/4 that quests for 4. Super good against like red decks, which this event had quite a few of. So super interesting to see this list. I think at the store we don't see a lot of Sapphire Steel, and even in the meta since the banning of Hiram. So super interesting to see Sapphire Steel. And then on the right we have Adam, who is on Blurple. He is a long time Blurple player. Has been playing Blurple for almost since it became a thing a couple sets ago. Super interesting list. I looked at his list a couple times and I like it. I actually played in this event with a version of the deck, so super fun deck, super cool. It'll be an interesting match.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting match here. And the Brawler Pro one, Adam's been playing it for almost a year, I believe he was saying. He's been playing this deck and been playing around with it, seeing what works, what doesn't work. So he is definitely a veteran with the Blurple deck. He's been playing it almost exclusively from what he says been saying is this. I mean, he'll test out other decks here and there, but this is one that he's fallen in love with quite a bit. And of course, we have Shane playing that Sapphire Steel. Of course, being with those aggro options is really good. And I believe Shane gets to go first here, so he's going to be looking for some cards here to go through, like your good one drops, like the Mickey and then the Mulan, to help him kind of cycle in that Mickey to kind of survive a little bit against some of those other steel options.
Yeah, it's interesting because Blurple has kind of a hard time playing against aggressive decks sometimes, especially with this Alice that can give things ward and has ward itself against a deck that kind of needs to be able to target things. And the resist could definitely come into play with something like Cogsworth. So we'll have to see how Adam deals with this this aggressive threat he's been presented with.
Yeah, so we see Shane here inking a Cogsworth, playing that Mickey, and we see Adam playing the Popsicle here, inking a Goat, drawing a card here. So we see some pretty basic turn ones here, and we're going into our turn 2, and Shane is debating on what to do here. I think he is, looks like he has a Calhoun, a Alice, a Pete, a Shampoo, and I can't see what the 4-cost card is in his hand. I believe it's oh gosh, what is that for?
Probably a Pluto.
It could be a Pluto.
Pluto's the only 4-cost character in the deck. It could be in Fortunate Situation, something that's interesting. He's actually on that 4-cost steel card that each opponent chooses a character and deals 4 damage to them. So super interesting. We might see that here.
Yeah, no, that card. I was looking at his deck list and I saw it, and I was like, ooh, this is a fun card. It's just a surprising card that no one really has been playing a lot of recently. So seeing that card come down is really good. I think it would be fun. We do see a fire cannons, which is neat. And it was a fire cannons. I was wrong. It wasn't a 4-cost. It was a fire cannons. So we don't get to see the fun card yet. But fire cannons is actually pretty good here against some of the other aggro decks. That's really good. At this moment, it might not be great, but we do get to see this Yago that's being inked, so there is a option for that fire cannons to knock out some of these characters with Vanish, and not being able to do it the damage-wise, but with the Vanish effect, whenever it gets targeted by an action card, it does get banished.
Yeah, Adam is pretty versed in this deck, and so I don't think he'll be playing any Iagos into Steel. I think he sees an Iago and he goes, oh, I guess that's going to my Inkwell, because he has another one in his hand. But there are spots where the game might go long. He might just have to play it to get something on the board, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, because I mean, he does have some Elsas in his hands. The Elsa with the Fifth Spirit, being able to rush, and it also looks like he has a couple other. He does have the Genie in his hand, which is nice. so that Genie can let him draw a card and being played, and also having evasive is really nice.
Yeah, it's probably what he ends up playing here because I don't think he has a ton of other options. So just getting something down to start threatening and start clearing some of these characters off the board. Notably, Genie survives against these Smees, which is nice. So at least it can take them out if he has to.
Yeah, Genie could be a good option here, and he either has the Yago or the Genie, debating what he wants to do here. And probably the Genie's probably not a bad option. It gets him a card draw. It does get him 2 extra lore the following turn, or take out a Shmi if he wants to.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what he goes with here.
I mean, he could even sing this friends with it next turn too, if he really wanted to, giving him some more card draw to hopefully find some more cards that he can play around with. But we does decide to get to play this Yago here, and having evasive and vanish, being a 4/6 body, is really good and very powerful. That could knock out some of these cards coming the next turn. But there's the Fire of the Cannons, knocking out that Yago.
Getting this Calhoun down. This is looking dire for Adam here. That's a huge blowout. Just being able to use 1 ink to get rid of your opponent's 4 ink card is always huge. So Adam really needs to find a way out of this situation. This is where Blurple starts to really have a hard time when your opponent starts to go wide and Blurple just doesn't have any board wipes like Be Prepared or Grab Your Swords, and so anytime that you don't get to keep your opponent under lock and key with your tools, you start to just fall behind and gradually start losing the game here. Luckily, he has this Elsa to start doing something, and his opponent is only at 2 cards in hand. So hopefully he can start to claw his way back into this game.
Yeah, so we do see the Elsa knocking out one of the Shmis here, knocking out the one that has the less damage on it, and then using the Popsicle to heal this Elsa to make it go down to only 1 damage left, and hoping to survive. Now, of course, the Elsa does have evasive, so it does not get knocked out by this Calhoun that is on the board. So it does get to protect itself from that, which is good. So there's no real way to get rid of it unless if he has an evasive character or something that does damage to the Elsa. And we do get to see another Shmi from Shane here getting played. So now he gets to have another character to lure and just questing out here with the other characters.
He's starting to get towards he's really starting to push this lore here. It's getting, I mean, the good thing for Adam here is that he's lost his other Smee, and the rest of the board isn't actually that scary. Lurple plays so many evasive threats that I actually don't think it really matters. Like Sapphire Steel's not going to be able to challenge back too well. Having to use both Elsas to knock out this Smee though is a little annoying.
Yeah, it's a little annoying getting to knock out all that, but we do get to keep the both Elsas, which is nice. And now Sean can't really, or Shane can't really deal with these Elsas here, unless if he's trying to deal damage with like one of his actions that he has.
Yeah, it's notable that he is only just now hitting 4 ink too, and only has 1 card in hand, so it's not looking as bad for Adam right now. This Alice is going to be a bit tricky to deal with, but it's not too bad. He could actually play this this Bell for free, which would actually be kind of huge.
Yeah, he could do that. I don't know if he will because he does have these Elsas. I mean, well, he could actually even bounce these Elsas because he does have this Fox in hand as well, which can take out the Mickey here. So he can use one of the Elsas, knock out the Mickey, and then bounce it right back to hand, and then being able to play this Bell for free, or even play the Elsa. You might be able to play this Elsa as well. That he would be bouncing back to hand, but it doesn't look like he's doing it. He is singing Friends with one of the Elsas, inking a Tipo, and seeing what he's trying to do here, figuring out what's going on here. Um, and let's see what he's doing here, thinking on what's going on, trying to figure out what his line is. But this having this Alice is kind of big against this Blurple deck because Blurple does want to target some characters with some of their effects, and now it makes it so they can't target those specific characters, and also can't be targeted itself.
Yeah, so he has an interesting line of he could use the popsicle to heal and also. Oh, just plays the Hades. Okay, makes a lot of sense. I think he just drew that Hades off that Friends. Interestingly, before he had this Hades, he could have used the popsicle to play the spell, uh, and then bounced it back with Fox, and then redeployed the bell, which would have been interesting. So he gets both things. But I don't think he cares about this Mickey too much. It's just not doing a whole lot, and I don't know if Adam knows, but there is no shift target for this Mickey, so it's just here to be a resist, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all it really is doing. And then, of course, we have Alice and this Mickey questing for 3, going to 17 here. So almost in range of winning. And we do have this Gantu that does get to quest for 4 next turn. So Adam has to find a way to answer this Gantu and the other 2 characters, or at least the Gantu and the Alice here, hoping to knock both of those out. And he does, of course, have this Fox, so he can take care of some of these characters. But this Gantu might be a problem here. But I think if he bounces back this Elsa, bounces back one of the Elsas, he should be able to answer this Gantu, and also answer this Alice as well.
I think the problem is he's only got 7 ink, so he doesn't actually have enough to play.
Oh, he can't.
He doesn't have enough to play the Elsa after he bounces it.
Oh, that's right.
So he has to play this genie.
Yeah.
Found the Hades on the top. That's brutal.
Ah, man, just shy of it too. So now we're gonna go into game 2 here.
This is what I was talking about with like Blarple. Just it takes the first like 3 turns, and then getting his Iago shut down immediately as it came out was really really tough. He's got to find a way to get around. He's got to start playing like goats and genies on 4, and just these Iagos just can't come down like ever, pretty much. Steel just has way too many things to just get rid of it. Um, I think he's got to find another answer.
Yeah, he's got to find a way to out tempo some of these steel cards, and even just having some better bodies on board so he can kind of go through here. But Shane here is going to try to do something similar to what he kind of already did, but just find more of those options of trying to bring out more of the Shmies, because he did get to see 3 Shmies that game, and pretty quickly too, and got to bring them all out. So trying to keep those characters out, and then bring in this Alice to kind of even protect those Shmies so it doesn't take so they don't get targeted by anything. And then even with the Cogsworth coming out as well would be really good, giving those Shmies the resist so they don't get to take that damage when they do are exerted at the end of the turn.
I think if Adam can find, so he's playing the Bell Accomplished Mystic. It's a 5 ink 4/4, and it can move up to 3 damage from a character to a chosen opposing character. Those are always super good against the aggro decks in Blarple. Um, just allowing you to challenge something and then moving damage over to, especially something like Calhoun, to dodge the resist is super helpful in like trying to 2-for-1 your opponent on turn 5, which is like where it really starts to matter in this deck. But notably, Adam's only playing 2, so finding them might be a little tough.
Yeah, it might be a little tough to get, but he does have some options. He is playing 3 copies of Finders Keepers to let him draw 3 cards, and then also 4 copies of Friends. So he does have some draw here. I mean, he also has some other draws like Sail the Azurite Seas. You also have the Genies, and a couple of the other cards to kind of cycle through and find stuff. He's also playing Gaston as well, which lets him look at top 3 cards and gets to add 1 to his hand, or adds yeah, you could put 1 into your hand, so which can find the right card that he may need as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love this Gaston. Unfortunately, in this matchup particularly, the cards like Finders Keeper's Friends on the Side and Gaston tend to be a little too slow. If you have to take a turn off to play one of those, especially if you have to pay ink for it, it's tough. Um, it just slows you down way too much, and you can't actually use the cards you draw off of it because you just lose the game. Now, if the game goes long enough, obviously Adam can do it to refuel his hand and keep his opponent under his thumb. But getting through these first like 4 turns is always difficult.
Yeah, the first few turns for him is going to be a little rough, like you said. With Shane being a little bit more of an aggro, or more aggro than, of course, than Adam is. It can be a little rough, but we do see a Shmi in Shane's hand here, and I don't know if I see any other. I don't see any one drops, but he does ink the Mulan and then just get to play the Mulan, getting to draw a card and then discarding a card, putting a card in that discard, figuring out which one to put, and he decides to put the Doc in the discard.
That's interesting. Doc's like, I think his only card draw on the deck, so pitching it now is a little interesting. But he probably thinks that all the rest of his threats in his hand can end the game. I think he's got a big gear at the top, which would help a lot in this matchup if he can get to 5.
Well, it would help a lot, but it is going to be in the ink. That's the way it's helping today, and playing that Shmi. So now he can, of course, gain some more lore quicker here, or take out any threats if need to be. But this Mulan does quest, and it is a 2/1, 2 strength, 1 willpower. So it trades really well with other characters. And now with Adam putting down a Tipo, does get to take out this Mulan as a potential threat. And then we get to see a genie, and then getting to banish that popsicle to play the bell for free. So he's getting 2 bodies on board here, and being big bodies at that is really good.
Yeah, this is huge for Adam. Getting to deploy 2 threats there is really nice. This will definitely allow him to um stop what Shane is doing, especially like you see here. Shane doesn't even quest because he knows that he's going to lose these if he quests at all. Um, Getting to sing friends here with this bell is super nice. We don't like Adam doesn't care about this bell. It could trade. It's just here to sing and most likely get banished, and it doesn't matter how it happens. So he just doesn't care. Using this turn to just hopefully keep the answers for the rest of the game. Especially because these Smees can't attack this genie either. So it's a pretty free just, hey, I'm gonna draw 4 cards this turn and hopefully have the answers for the next few turns.
Yeah, I mean, he drew I think like 4 or 5 cards that turn, which is really big for Adam here, drawing that many cards, seeing those answers, and then setting up for the following turn. Now we do get to see Shane dropping down this Pluto, and then being able to finally quest with some of these characters. So now this Bell doesn't get to challenge into the Shmis as easily, and has to go through that Pluto first before doing so.
Luckily, I think Adam can just run this bell into the Pluto if he really wants to, because again, this bell has done its job. Make it a 1/5, be able to attack it with a genie, so you don't actually lose your genie, and then you can go to town on these Smees. I think he's got an okay line here to deal with most of the board.
Yeah, we do get to see this Hades, and we do get to see a Elsa and Fox in hand, so he can take care of those pretty quickly as well. So you can have that bell go into that Pluto, or you can even keep this bell because you do have the popsicles. Bounce the bell with the Fox, so then you can bring out this bell again, which could be an option that he could take and answer a lot of the board here.
Let's see what Adam decides here. Gets the Elsa down. This makes sense.
So we do get to see the Bell do the damage to Pluto, and then the Elsa finishing it off, and then having these genies take off the Shmies as well. So now he gets to clear Shane's board. So Shane has nothing here and has to answer all these characters with evasive.
Yeah, this is the one rough part for Sapphire Steels. All these cards have this evasive keyword, and it just starts to get a little overwhelming when you can't actually deal with their threats. Luckily, finds the fire the cannons for the turn, so he can at least deal with one of these genies, but it may not be enough.
Yeah, and we do get to see Shane drop this dock here, but doesn't use its effect. But it does look like he has another one in hand and a Champowin as well. So he can play this bodyguard to help answer some things, or play this other dock to then discard some things, or discard the other card he'll draw for turn and draw some more cards. I'll hopefully see some answers to these genies and for this Elsa as well.
I think he's hoping to hit another ink for next turn and drop this Chienpo and then play the other dock later. But I'm not sure that that's gonna. We know Adam has a Hades in his hand, um, so that Chienpo is gonna come down and it's immediately gonna go to the Inkwell, which is, I think, is gonna be enough tempo loss for Sapphire Steel that Blurple will just take over the game and it'll be a slow burn from there.
Yeah,
Getting back the
that's rough.
Elsa, yeah, getting back this Elsa is huge to just let him exert something in the future turns later too.
Definitely. I mean, he can bring down whatever. He can bring down this other dock next turn, and he can just exert it and take it out so it's not a problem in the future if need to be, or he can quest with other things. Um, but I think he is inking the Champao and is deciding what to play. Looks like he's paying 3 ink for a John Silver, which targets the Madam Mim Fox here. So now that Madam Fox can't challenge characters and plays this dock so that he can draw 2 cards.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. Having a John Silver here is nice, but I don't know that it. I mean he didn't have any other options. I'm surprised he actually didn't try to get the Chienpo down. But I think he wanted to really get this other dock down this turn.
Yeah, I think he wants to try to build kind of wide here because I mean he knows that hey he could have potentially have like a Hades, a Let It Go, or some sort of removals that he has for something that is not exerted here that's readied up. Even though he knows he has the Elsa in his hand, he doesn't want to lose all of his characters, so he kind of wants to try to build a little wider. And this John Silver kind of helps him do that a little bit. We do get to see this Elsa come down, not making that John Silver uh, go sideways, being exerted, and then having this goat challenge into the John Silver, knocking itself out as well, so that Adam can gain this lure. So that puts him at 5 lure this turn, and gets him inching his way up to that 20, but also clearing Shane's board here and keeping a good tempo wise, and trying to keep this board under control.
Yeah, I don't think Adam feels like he's under too much of a threat right now. He's still got this other goat in his hand. He's got this Hades and this Diablo. Not that the Diablo's doing a ton for him right now, but like he probably gets to play it this turn for free. Um, so he just gets to kind of play this slow game that Blurple wants to play now.
Yeah, and then we have this Genie going and the Elsa going into one of the docks here, just taking it out. And we do have this one more dock here on the field, but it is readied and just waiting to get exerted. But Adam does have 2 ink, and it looks like he's debating on what he wants to play next. And we do get to see this 1-drop Diablo here. So whenever it does get banished, it does get to draw him a card and replaces itself, which is nice.
Yeah, this Diablo is super nice because he just doesn't care if it just get banished in any capacity. It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna quest with this a bunch, and if you take a turn off to banish it, then I don't care.
So now we see Shane drop a Mr. Shmee here, and then paying 4 ink for this McDuck Manor, which it does have a big health here, which is big for Shane, so it doesn't get knocked out as easily. But now Adam is playing a Amethyst deck, so Amethyst does have a lot of easy ways to kind of answer it by just challenging into it. which is huge because you've got those foxes that can just you put 4 into it and just easy way to get into it. But well, hopefully he doesn't want that to get answered. He wants to keep that McDuck Manor on board. And we do see Adam play this Gaston here, looking at the 3 cards and picking one and putting it in his hand.
Those are a heck of a 3 cards too. You can choose a Genie, a Gaston, or a Hades. I couldn't see quite what he chose, but if I had to guess, he either chose the Gaston or he chose the Hades. That's what I figured. That's incredible backup that he has now. He just like he's never worried about anything coming down other than it's like specifically Alice, and I think he can race the board as it is right now if he really wants to. He could take this fox and attack the dock to get it off the board, which would be like fine. But he also does just quest for a bunch. Yeah, take that out, and I think he's just gonna quest with everybody else.
Yeah, he quested for the 4
I think
and went to 10 lore here, so he can go up pretty quick trying to race that. I think that's exactly what he's going to try to do here because he does have this Gaston that does quest for 3, so he can race it pretty quickly now.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to interact with this manner if he doesn't have to. And I mean, it wouldn't really cause an issue, but I think Adam just wants to end the game before his opponent does find a way out of it.
Yeah, we do get to see this John Silver saying the Madam M can't challenge this turn. So it doesn't get to knock out the Shmi, which is fine, but or even put the damage on the Mictic Banner. But I don't think it really matters for Adam here because he's just going to quest it and just race and get to that 20 quickly.
Yeah, exactly I think he was always going to throw this. I think he was always going to throw this Hades at the Shmi anyway. Yeah, Adam just closing the game out there in swift fashion. Had some really good stuff there. That turn, I think the turning point was really having that. There's 2 turning points. That Genie and Elsa turn that he got to play two threats there was huge, and then being able to basically nullify the Pluto and get rid of both Smees was huge. I think those were his turns where he really rounded the corner against this deck.
Yeah, no, those were some good points of just trying to keep control and just basically just having the answers for everything that Shane put down, and just answered it all. And Adam was just keeping that control and then being able to race it at the very end and closing off the game. And now Shane gets to go first here and decides what he needs to look for and how he wants to go through this game and trying to figure out how to answer these evasive characters at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know Shane has a decent amount of removal, but I don't know that he really even wants to play the removal game all that much. I think if he tries to do that, he falls behind against all of these evasive threats that have huge willpower. I think he just needs to do the thing he's been doing where he just puts his foot on the gas and really puts it on Adam to deal with the board and hope that he doesn't see anything too crazy like he did last game.
Yeah. And that's definitely something he'll have to try to do is just try to find those cards that he can quest out and try to race him a little bit more, and because it is tough to answer those, and he does have those answers, but it is tough. He's not going to really have that time. By the time he has it, Adam's already controlled and has everything he needs to win that late game, and that's where Adam strives, is that late game. The Blurple deck just strives that late game, keeps control until you don't have any resources anymore and can't play the game, and Blurple just goes, cool, we got it now. We can control it, and I can race it. I can go 20, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, this is interesting on Adam's part because he has 2 1-drops in his hand, but he also has this Bell in his hand, and I'm curious if he tries to mulligan for this Bell on turn 1, or if he is okay with just playing these 1-drops on turn 1.
Yeah, that is.
Or if he just kept it. I wonder if he kept it all.
He might be keeping it. Oh, he might be putting it back. No. Oh no,
he's thinking.
he's put 6 back and only kept the bell.
Okay.
All right, so he's going to try to find this, trying to find the popsicle so he can get this bell out turn 1, which would be good.
Yeah, I think. Well, he didn't have any ramp in his hand either, so I think he's looking for a bit of both. Um, Seeing on Shane's side though, he's got 2 McDuck Manors in his hand, and I know McDuck Manors can be really tough for Blarple to deal with, especially on turns 4 and 5 if you do them like right back to back. So that might be something he's interested in doing with all of these characters.
Yeah, that might be the way he has to play it here. And he might do it here. But we do get to see this Mickey turn 1, and we do get to see the bell here on turn 1, pop in the popsicle, and getting this bell. So now this bell can answer some things or sing the friends, so he can draw cards, which is good. Which is a nice card to have. We do see Shane ink a Strength of Raging Fire, playing down the Shmi, questing with this Mickey, and starting off the lore gain.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Adam tries to sing friends this turn if he just starts to attack things. I wouldn't be surprised to see either option here. He also luckily on his mulligan saw his ramp that he really needed to, which is extremely nice.
Yeah, seeing those ramp, he got to see the sail and then even drew one for turn, but he did ink that second one. But now he gets to draw a card and ink additional card for turn here, so he can decide what he wants. And he does have this bell that gets to move the damage, so he can answer some of these other characters on the field nicely as well if they need to be, like those Calhouns or any bodyguards that he can just move damage to and knock it out.
If I had to guess, I think he's got 2 friends. I could either see him inking a friends or a crab here and trying to get this other Diablo down as just a way to also start gaining lore on his own, or even next turn playing crab so that Diablo can attack something if it has to.
Yeah, it does look like there's 2 friends in his hand. He's also got this Hades for later on as well. But the Diablo is definitely good going into that next turn with Crab knocking out the Shmi, and being able to draw a card on top of that, which would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Shane not. He's just gonna quest with this me, I would assume. I don't think he wants to take this trade. He just wants to keep pushing the lore as hard as he can, as fast as he can.
Yeah. Looks like we get to fire cannons this bell here, knocking out the bell, questing with the Shmi, so he knows that he probably can survive here this turn, and not being able to take it out with the Diablo, but little does he know that Adam has a crab in his hand that can take out the Shmi pretty easily.
Yeah, this crab's gonna be huge for Adam. Especially that now that Shane doesn't have a board anymore. Like a lot of the times in these games he's had a couple of cards on board. But only Adam having a board presence here is pretty significant, especially with how little Shane ends up drawing in a game. His threats need to stick around.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like we have a Peter Pan Shadowfinder, which is nice against some of the stuff getting rushed and also having evasive. We do get the crab getting to seeing friends, grabbing a genie and a Gaston off the top of the deck, and then that genie gets a grab. I think that was a bell, and just inks it. And now Shane has to deal with this genie and this crab. But we do get to see 2 Alices on the field here, which is kind of big here, being able to give other characters ward and an extra lore as well. And they also have ward themselves, and they also quest for 2, which are some big bodies is nice.
Yeah, the fact that they have ward means that they always get to stick around, and like Adam can't interact with them ever. So he can just sit with these for a while and go, all right, I'm going to find like my Gontu, hopefully, quest with my Alice to give it ward. Sure, you might take my Alice out, but next turn I'm questing for like 8 or something and really try to close the game.
Yeah, and then we do get to see this Gaston from Adam here. It looked like he was picking between Goat a goat, and I believe it was Sail, and he grabbed, of course, one of the goats because it is the goat. And we see, of course, Crab here questing, putting Adam to 3 here. We do get to see Shane drop down this Pluto, giving Pluto that ward, and then questing to go up by, I believe, potentially 4, but it could be 5. I could be wrong on that. He might have selected that other Alice to give it that extra lore pip.
Yeah, I didn't see what he pointed at. I missed. I saw him point to the Pluto, but I missed if he pointed to the other Alice. I would assume that he did, but I did miss that.
Yeah, because I know he kind of like went quick with it. It looked like he pointed one to the Pluto and then one to the Alice, most likely. So he quested for 5, which is good. Being able to kind of quest here and then also protect them with the Pluto, which is good. And does get to knock out this crab as well, which is good. I don't know how he knocked out the Pluto. I didn't see
So
that.
he attacked. He attacked with Crab and gave the challenger to the genie.
Okay, so the genie was the one who took out the Pluto. Okay.
Yeah, the genie is 2 damage on it. It should have 1, but I don't know it's gonna matter. But it should have 1. And then he took out the other 2 with his other 2 characters.
Okay.
Getting to wipe the board there was huge. I do not think Shane expected him to be able to wipe the board. That Peter Pan was kind of massive.
Yeah, the Peter Pan came in just knocking out things, and now we get to see Adam here questing for 1, 2, 3 for a bunch. It looks like he gets a quest for 7, which is big. And then of course you also get to play the goat, so it got to go to 11, which is really big. And now there it's 8 to 11 here, with Adam being 11, going up and then dropping down this Hades to put one of the characters into the Inkwell, which is good. And now we get to see a Gantu and a Shampoo and the shake for the game where Adam gets it.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam had lethal there by exactsies. He had 9 lore on the board, so Shane had to find a way to banish something, and he just didn't find an answer for the board. It was really good on Adam, especially that turn with the Pluto and the 2 Alices. I misspoke. He that turn with the Pluto, he attacked with the crab and gave the challenger to the Peter Pan. And then attacked with the genie, because it's 3 and then 5, or 2 is 5. And then could attack with the other 2 to knock out the 2 Alices.
Okay.
But yeah, that turn was huge for him. Finding that Peter, I think he only has 2 of those Peter Pans in the deck, which is something I think I talked to him after the event, and he added pretty last minute, I think last week or so, or the week before the tournament. I think he added those in because he likes it with the Iago, especially giving it rush, doing a Maui impression in not red. So
yeah, no, the Peter Pan and the Iago is definitely a scary thing to come down. You just get to play that Peter Pan the turn, and then the following turn you get to play that Iago and just go, cool. All right, I have a 4/6 rush. Answers anything that the opponent plays, because then you could also have that Peter Pan challenge into it as well if you needed to. And they both have evasive, which is good, so they can't really be challenged back unless if something else has evasive, which is big. But those are definitely a scary little combo that you can do in the game. But congrats to Adam for winning the semifinals here. And as we go on to the finals with Adam and then his opponent, which we have seen before, but you'll have to wait to see who they are as we go into the final round. So we will see you guys next time.